Whoa, are we streaming? Let's see how this works. Awesome. So the stream should be live. If someone could check it, that'd be really cool. Looks like it's going.
It is.
Boom, shakalaka. Hey, everybody. Welcome to DACathon 2021. I'm Max, helping out CSX, Crown Community, and MetaDAC. And this is DACathon 2021 Gaming. And today we're going to go over some of the submissions this year. Some really cool stuff, as I see. And I'm just going to go down the list in the order that people submitted some stuff. How is everyone doing this fine day? Good. Nice, nice, nice. Yeah, so let's see how many submissions we got. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Oh man, awesome. So we're just going to go in the order of submissions, and the first one is from Amin Yu. It's Women and BIPOC Initiatives, and she's not here today, so we will be posting links to all these in the channel. If she shows up, we'll let her present. And yeah, so just if you go to the chat, you can see the presentations or any other additional content that people want to contribute to their projects for review. And we'll announce how voting works as well in the next couple days for sure. And we'll get you your tokens. We have some NFTs to give out, and we have some different types of NFTs and some MetaDAC tokens to your EOS wallet. So we will make sure you get those as soon as possible. So next up is David. David, your first one is real-time upland visitor experience sentiment display. Would you like to present that?
Right, thanks. So imagine you are in a virtual world, walking around, and you have the ability to visit different plots of land that will offer different experiences and engagement opportunities and games maybe, or maybe gifts or whatever, or just sightseeing or meeting friends, many different things. So we basically have some sort of experience, and so this whole world is made up of these plots of land. So I would like to offer a kind of interface where the visitor can, like a guest book in the old days, the visitor can go into that block, to that thing, enter some text and write his experience, really short or really long, however he likes, and submit it. Anonymous, name, doesn't matter. And this in the simplest version. And then there will be a graffiti wall prominently on this place, where all the submitted text experiences will be mashed together and created a tag cloud, which means a kind of typographic design that has like the word that is most occurring in all the text data is the biggest, and then the second most occurring is like the second biggest, and it creates some kind of artistic representation of this data, visually representing kind of what people say the most, right? And then in descending order of word size, basically displaying like what people talk about, what people feel, the connotations. And then to improve on that, you could, like, to prevent people from gaming it, I would offer like an NFT when you enter the land, one for I was here, and one for leave a guest book entry and get a prize, right? So that people would send the guest book entry NFT to get a prize. So they have incentive to submit one real entry to get a prize, but they don't have much incentive to submit more crap. So it's probably boring to do that. But that's just level 2 stuff, right? So on the simplest level, it's just have this data in real time, like every new visitor changes this graffiti kind of thing. And so everyone could take a look and be like, oh, people just have a shit experience, right? Because it's like crap and shit. Or like people think about flowers and bees because it's like a garden or whatever. So I was thinking like, I would like to have at one glance know what people have the kind of experience. So that's about the short of it.
Awesome. That was great. And then do you guys want to, hey David, are you okay to getting questions around that, or do you want, is that all right? Are you open to getting some questions there?
Oh yeah, I have to, like, if there's any questions or any feedback or improvements, because it was just a rough idea I got while listening to the Uplift YouTubes, and the guys like, and I was getting all excited. So if this excited you and got your brains turning, then yeah, please share it.
Yeah, I think my only. I'm getting. Oh, sorry about that. Yeah, I was gonna wonder. Let's see. Have you thought about the game mechanics of how to reward or incentivize, or do you have any like disincentivization, or yeah? I was just wondering if you thought about any of that part.
Well, yeah, I just thought about like positively reinforcing good behavior for now by having like by getting something for doing it right? But like, because that's easier, and there's not much, like it's not like bots can come in there, because there's a high entry level barrier, because you need this passport NFT to even enter the world. You need to do all these things. So I don't expect much abuse, but for that little that I do expect, I was thinking about just incentivizing good behavior by offering prizes for following the process.
Any other questions or comments? You're muted, Dwayne.
I think it's great. Real-time sentiment of the experiences people are in virtual worlds is awesome. I don't have any questions for you.
Okay, and then yeah, any other questions or comments? Oh, nice. We got EOS USA Michael in the house. Yeah, any other questions or comments? All right, so David, you're next up with virtual tree conservation, and take it away.
Okay, so again, it's just, this is a rough idea. I know people who are planning to plant 3 million trees in the next 3 worlds around the realm, around the planet, and they are called like crystallized roots movement. Some guy made it big in whatever, right? And he decided, well, let's plant some trees. And he's getting people together and getting all the logistics together and getting this organized. And I thought, like, well, he's actually the guy who got me into crypto. And so he's the reason I'm here. So I thought of him. But I thought, how cool would it be to I have several land plots in the Uplift, and I thought, well, how, I mean, I don't think I can fit 3 million, I don't know, but just thought maybe to have like every 10th, or I don't know, have basically virtual trees in the Uplift on these land plots that people can visit virtually, and then maybe have a kind of interface on them that links to the positional data of the actual tree, and maybe gets some status updates either from, I don't know, some form of real-time data feed, like, for example, Google Maps, right? So like looking at, I mean, right now it's like 2 years delayed, but just that was a rough idea, to have some kind of real-world feedback on how the tree is doing, have a positional data, and have an NFT that you own that you buy, and you buy basically the stewardship of the tree, because these trees at first they need to be watered, and there will be local groups that care for the several locations. So a stewardship would be, I think, cool. So that people have this also emotional connection and experience, right? It's like crowdfunding, but it's not over when you get your prize, but you actually can visit and you have this emotional bonding with that tree, so, even though it's somewhere else. So I thought like it's pretty rough, but I thought it's a framework I wanted to try things with, because I like trees and I like, well, connecting things, I guess, people in that. any ideas, maybe like from the code, more code affinity people?
Oh man, I love that idea.
I love that idea.
There's did you mute David? Sorry. There's this kind of like idea of like we're going like nested in these virtual worlds, but then we're also kind of like forgetting the real world in that process. And I think things like that can bridge those, because we're kind of going more extreme in both directions. The more we go into these worlds, the more further we're getting from our reality. And so I think things like that can like, we need those bridges between the nature and then the future of where the technology is going. I remember before, even before the first standard on wax, before simple assets, we were talking about this idea of NFTs being used to like show the growth of a plant or a tree. Do you remember this, Dwayne? Like, it was like, because you can change the image over time on an NFT. It doesn't have to be a static image. It can be dynamic, and I was thinking like, it starts out as a picture of a seed and, people can buy it and invest in that seed. And then as it grows, eventually the plant produces other fruits or other things. And then, essentially that NFT turns into many NFTs if each of those, if it turns into some like consumable material or something like that. But yeah, I think something like that where, those trees are actual unique trees that you're saying, but you see it from like the sprout to the full growth, and having some trigger that can show that or demonstrate the, like even just the height of it, like some type of number that illustrates, like it might even just be a block, like one tree is one block, right? And then over time it gets like, the blocks get higher the taller the trees get, and it kind of represents the forest or whatever's planted. Anyway, yeah, I mean, we can yeah, I definitely like that idea, but we can talk more about that another time. Yeah, that was my question and comment. So yeah, anyone else?
That was my comment. I liked it.
It took a second to figure if that was on purpose or not.
My comment is I've seen some innovative other tree plantings where they have QR codes and different things. I think with the NFT craze right now and virtual worlds, and then eventually VR, that you're onto something bigger than just a project that you love and are that's dear to your heart. We've seen environmental practices where you're putting money into a centralized authority starting to become more transparent, and they've tried to do more engaging things, right? So this would be, utilizing what we know, making it fun, having that in both worlds. Yeah, so there's definitely, a big world of, people that are doing just this. They're trying to plant trees and trying to connect that person that wants to sponsor the association. So to cut out the middleman and be more direct, I think it's I think it's really brilliant. It'd be interesting to see the dynamics then of prize pools or different funds that you can put in a secondary layer when you have the interaction on the real world side. Maybe there's a steward that's that you're connected with now. So now you said, like, it's almost like an old pen pal that, he can kind of update, that picture, and then, there's an engagement between two parties. So there's, some extra value. But there's something coming out where that person's incentivized to, make sure that tree's watered or something, right? So there's a way to engage more and more consumers versus just, I want to be connected with planting a tree, the steward. Then it's, you can be open up to general public. So there's a lot of innovative ways to get more people to look at the issue that trees are important. So I think it's brilliant.
Awesome. Any other comments or questions on that?
Yeah, so I just wanted to put this idea out there because I haven't talked to them yet. I'm just part of a local group in Germany, but it's like not yet much is happening because it's winter. Some folks around the world have started planting where it's warmer. So, but I wanted to run it by you guys to get like any strong objections if you had any. So I will contact them now and see like what they think.
Awesome. Yeah, I definitely want to. I got some ideas I want to share with you later for sure. Awesome. Yeah, highly recommend even setting up a Telegram group for that, just to get more, discussion going on that. So we got Andreas up next. I don't think he made it, but he did the DAC LATAM, and he went over a little bit this last week. It's basically an in-progress project, DAC LATAM Genus Custodians, and he has a Canva link, and we'll be posting that in the group. And it looks like we're up next. So Dwayne and I are going to present Kinder NFTs. So this is myself, Dwayne, and John from Boyd.com. And let me pull it up and share a screen. Just give me 1 second. And this is a project that is totally, can you guys see this all right? Okay, sweet. Let me see if I can share it. So this project is a tool to fractionalize any of the atomic assets NFTs. And this idea it's been around for a while. And I think we can do it. And we're going to do it. We're going to do this project. All right. So yeah, it's myself, Dwayne, and John. So let me start with the problem. I typically, like, when I jump into ideas for things, I kind of forget that I'm trying to solve a problem. So I'm just trying to make it super clear. And here the problem is: the cost of NFTs are high, especially if they're used as a utility-based game piece. The market prices and demand will rise. It becomes difficult for new and financially restricted community members to obtain it. And we've seen that with Alien Worlds. The land is just like $1,000, $800,000. I don't know. You guys might know better than me, but I know it's getting so expensive that I've had a lot of friends. I've onboarded them who are not able to spend money on these things. And they're like, well, I might invest if it was like $100, right? Or they might speculate if it was $50. So I was thinking, I'm like, how do we make these things more accessible to, I would say, make it more equitable, make it a more level playing field so people can benefit, and it's not just the landowners that can get this like passive income off the land. Solution: we've got to break these things into smaller things. And this is going to allow an accessible price point to more incoming users. Oh, nice. And Nathan says minimum lands are on 850. Yeah, pretty ridiculous. So here's another problem. Some of the NFTs and game pieces that receive regular payments as these tokens. So it's somehow a security a little bit. For example, land NFTs in alien worlds receive regular payment distributions in the TLM token. And this is the most used blockchain game in the world. Definitely by transactions, definitely by NFTs. So we're going to see more games like this where the in-game assets yield some type of dividend or some perpetual benefit. So this is a major problem because it's basically reinforcing that only elites and the wealthy can get this stream of passive income. And I think this tool can change that. So the solution is we can route these payments to the fractionally held NFTs. And this is the only feature of this first iteration. So it's basically a tool, you break up NFTs and then that's it. The only feature, route fractional Trillium to these new holders. So holders of atomic assets, wax-based NFTs will be able to log in to an interface, select one of their NFTs, set a buyout price, which I'll describe, fractionalize and issue these NFTs to their wax account. And this is how we help the greater community. A user logs in. Ideally, it's going to be one of these wealthy, rich landowners, and I know there's some of you on the call. You'll be able to view your NFTs. You'll select an NFT. You'll select a buyout price. The buyout price is more of a way to not necessarily give rights to the fractional holders, but to give them an incentive to purchase this, this fractional land. So when the NFT is created, the main one is instantly listed on a market for a price. And you would want to list your land at a higher price. And when you do that, when it's purchased, all those fractional holders will get their percent of that income. And I'll get more into that. But it's a solution around giving the rights to the people that speculate on the fractionalized land. So you would pick your buyout price. So normally if like the land goes for $850, you might put it at $1,600. You might put it for even more. The number of NFTs to mint. So you could do 10, you could do, I think we said the maximum would be like 100. Not necessarily sure exactly what the best numbers are, but definitely keeping it low at first, just to see how it works. In the first iteration, keeping that low mint number is important, I think. So then the user, the whale, NFT whale, sends an NFT. They submit a number, well, they're submitting the number of how many NFTs they want to create, and they're submitting the buyout price, which is that higher than normal market number. Next, the user receives their freshly minted fractionalized NFTs. So once again, I'm going to reiterate the buyout price because it's a little confusing. And there's this acknowledgement. So when you're creating this NFT, it gives you a warning so you know what's going on here. The user must acknowledge the buyout price. And it has this description, informs the users that the original NFT will be listed on Atomic Assets Marketplace at the listing price. If this NFT sells, every fractionally issued NFT will burn and every holder will get their buyout share. User must manually sign this agreement the first time the user issues this service. So they have to actually click an extra box, and that's going to be a transaction, just to make sure that they know what's going on. Because some people might think like, oh, well, I get to hold the NFT and like on benefit from that. But essentially it's like you're going to be transferring that land to our contract. So to Kinder NFTs, and Kinder NFTs is going to hold that. And we're giving them a bunch of pieces. They can do whatever they want with those little pieces, those fractional NFTs, and those are going to get those fractional payments in Trillium. So when basically the NFT is purchased from the marketplace, then it basically just in essence destroys those fractional pieces. And then all those people that held those will get their fraction of wax from that buyout share. And here's some simple math. The listing price on Atomic is the buyout price plus 5%. And that's what we're going to take for the service to administer this. And then there's also the 4% standard atomic asset fees. So there's a 9% price built into the listing price. The buyout share price is a listing price divided by the fractional NFTs issued. So this is the only feature that we're going to have in the first iteration. You can claim your trillium from the fractionalized land. If you hold this land, it'll allow you to claim your share of that land that the original land had received. So if you own 1/10 of the land, you'll be able to claim 1/10 of the trillium that was received. And yeah, I'm trying to keep this as simple and as concise as possible. Hop into Kinder Miners if you have any questions. We'll be definitely getting things organized there. And yeah, would love to have you part of the team and getting this going. I think it's really important. So thank you for your time. Any questions or comments, please?
I've got a question. So for like Alien Worlds Land, where you can set the commission rate, would there be a voting process between the fractional shareholders, or would each one be able to set, you know, what com they'd like to receive?
Yeah, in this first iteration, that was way too involved, so we're not going to have that. Instead, we're going to just pay them out. So you really have no rights as a fractional landowner in this first iteration, but that's something really important that we want to offer in future rounds. But it's mostly like figuring that out logistically was way too much. Just want to see if people would even use this first, and then if it is accepted by the community, then start adding more features like that.
Fair enough.
Yeah, and maybe just like that warning saying, look, when the original asset is sold, you know, it's going to burn all the fractionalized NFTs and pay out their percentage. Maybe a little warning for the Alien Worlds one saying, hey, or maybe they can look it up, just saying, you know, look, the original NFT has his commission set at this amount. You know, if we put up a bunch of land today and fractionalized it each into 10 pieces, and they were all on the same, you know, sort of land, you know, users would probably be looking at, you know, which one of those includes the highest commission, right? Because you're going to be getting your fraction of that commission as well. So this was a trade-off. The kind of burn, you know, sell at a higher price and burn was a trade-off in lieu of not having those instinctual land rights, like being able to set your own commission. And I guess we'd have on the user side, just like we had on the person fractionalizing their NFT, that same warning that says, hey, this NFT, the original one's listed at this amount. So they can kind of see what their share would be if that high priced NFT was sold.
Yeah, I just want to add too that we can't burn NFTs in other people's wallets. For some reason, I thought we could with, there's a way to do it, but that's not possible. So when the payout, so that's something that the user has to do themselves. They'll have to burn their own fractional land. You're like, well, wait a second. How do they get their payout of their dividend when the piece sells? It's going to be backed by, so when that land does sell, it's going to be backing each of those fractional lands. So when they burn it, then that wax will come out of it. Yeah, any other comments and questions on it?
So ultimately, are you able to use any card, other, you know, like Alien Worlds cards, or later, like if you made your own land cards?
Any NFT will work, correct. But we're only going to be routing payments for the Alien Worlds land. And then then it's on a case by case basis if we want to integrate it further.
So the person would send out the fractionalized pieces themselves to whoever qualifies or whoever they want to give it to? Is that
Or
right?
list them on the marketplace. So they could sell them over market value if they wanted to.
And then it gets fractally where, so Lisa, if you fractalize 10 of one of your NFTs and put it up in the market, we all buy it for 10 wax. I can then, if I bought one, I can then take it to the same service and fractalize it again if I wanted to.
Yeah, I wish
Okay.
we had. Oh, sorry. What was that, Lisa?
I just said it's very impressive. Infinite possibilities.
Yeah, it's a huge deal. There's so we have a problem with just from the easy part is the fractionalization, and it's pretty much like, oh yeah, we could do that in a week or so, but then we have a problem with the payouts and how to do that in a smart contract. It's a little more difficult, but rather than just giving them the stream, the user would have to claim. And I think so there is that response to the user to, if they have the piece, then they'll need to claim that. Just trying not to have points of failure. So still some problems there in figuring out the smart contract with that, but that's, yeah, it's, I mean, this is so exciting. Like this is the most exciting project of, yeah, and it's just so simple. Like if this can work, this can change the dynamics of the game, just decrease the barrier of entry and barrier of average users taking a stake in the game as well.
I'd like to say something. I've watched like this two informal landowners, or like two informal projects by landowners who both own several lands, like I don't know, but more than one. One is Dwayne and one is Man from NFT Share, and they basically created NFTs who get a share from all the lands they own, and they sold these NFTs and they manually distribute these earnings. And these NFTs are also tradable on the open market. And I've watched these, and it's interesting to see how the prices develop with the wax prices and trillium prices, and yeah, well, how. So that's like the prototype of what you are trying to do, and so there's a lot of demand for it because people, like you say, people love these land shares because it's low entry point. They want a passive income, but they don't want to invest huge sums. So definitely big demand for it. They were sold out pretty quick.
Well, and it's really scary to buy one of their fractional lands because you don't really own it. You don't, like in this example that we're proposing, you will own it because it's all controlled by smart contracts. And so if one of those individuals for whatever reason either goes to prison or like just disappears off the face of the planet, like your investment of $100 might turn into $10,000, but it's worthless because you're not getting that dividend if they have to pay it out manually. So I would say that is actually extremely dangerous to do that action manually. And we see that with a lot of people that are building and offering community engagement with significant stores of value. It's a perpetual problem. Awesome. Sorry. Any other comments or questions?
Just a comment. I'm looking forward to that one because it sounds like an interesting way that it'll play out with people with co-owning an asset that has to be moved whole. And if anything's to be done with it, it has to be done whole. So it's a very good use case for decentralized governance. Looking forward to that one.
Yeah, and the governance, that's another feature we would want to add too. That 5% is going to be further development, secure regular development. I didn't really want to get into that. Just, it's going to be kind of expensive to make. So after those costs are covered, then put it into a pool of sorts and have some other NFT dropped on those fractional holders. There's a bunch of other options. I don't want to get into other features, but really excited about that.
That makes sense.
All right, next up we got Nathan with Real World NFT, and it looks like EOS USA Michael and Lisa Chandler on the team. Would you like to screen share or yeah, we'll take it away.
I'll just explain it. The link that I shared was just a link to the Telegram chat so that anybody who wanted to join in could join in. So the idea is that we would like to be able to tie real world objects to the blockchain. So whether that's, tying a 3D printed model of a Peacemaker to a Peacemaker NFT, or just any other simple NFT. But other, future applications for this, could be to tie, like land deeds to it, to have serialization for, hardware. So, you can't fake the serial number of any given object because it's tied to the blockchain. And another thing, which actually my father-in-law suggested, which was really cool and never would have occurred to me, was authentication for like sports and entertainment memorabilia. So like eventually maybe having like an NFT tag embedded on a basketball player's jersey that they just quickly tap in for to prove that they were at that game, and then that NFT in that jersey would be tagged with all of these different locations, so you could verify it if you're buying the actual item at a later date. But for the purpose of Hackathon, we would just want to start to figure out our game plan for the path of how to go about this. Realistically, I think the easiest way to start would be to do an embedded QR code on the item. However, QR codes are a lot easier to mimic than other ways of communication and imprinting asset IDs onto things. So after that, I would probably move on to either a two-factor like Bluetooth authentication or some other form, RFID, NFC, some sort of more secure link.
Awesome. Yeah, any comments or questions for Nathan? Yeah, my question is, how do you prevent like duplicate tags or codes? Or it seems like all those things, when there's enough of them circulating, people find a really good way to make copies. Like I heard in some countries, like most of the dollars circulating are bootlegs or counterfeit. So have you thought about any security features that could prevent the replication of those? Or
so clearly that wouldn't be possible with it might be possible with the QR code. You might have to have but you might have to have on the blockchain like some sort of proof of sale, so that if an identical copy does pop up somewhere, and there's a second one at the same time, and there was no proof of sale, it would know, which one had, or which one has the, best and most up-to-date ledger on the blockchain. Okay, because just because you have the same tag doesn't mean that you necessarily have, the same path. And if it doesn't have the right path, while it's verifying, it would know that it's wrong.
Yeah, that's a major problem to figure out. I'm not sure what the answer is to
that. To be honest, I'm the hardware guy, not the software guy. So it's not I can spout ideas all day, but it would definitely be more on the USA Michael to actually figure out a way to implement some sort of two-step verification.
Yeah, just make it happen, right?
I'm not saying that this is going to be a short-term project by any means. Like, this isn't going to be completed, in the end of the week. There are going to be problems to be solved over a longer period of time, but it would be great to have, at least a path to proof of concept.
I would also, my other comment is that I'd consider making a physical hardware device that you can put the original object inside of it, and it deterministically creates a hash of that object. And I'm not necessarily sure the way to do that, because I'm not necessarily a hardware guy, but I think that's what you would need, because I feel like you can. A lot of these things can be spoofed. I've worked with QR codes over 10 years now in different art projects and tried to come up with some way to verify like things work. And I put them on art pieces, and
that's why I was saying like QR codes is a short-term proof of concept method, but we definitely need some way to have a more secure, authentication purpose.
Awesome. Yeah, looking forward to following that. It sounds really cool. Definitely. Yeah, any other comments or questions? Or Michael, you want to add anything?
I don't really know if there's much to add, but yeah, like RFIDs, I mean, being able to kind of walk up and scan it with your phone or a device like you're talking about and verifiably know that that's it. That's kind of the key, making it portable and not spoofable.
For sure. Sweet. If there's any other comments or questions, Lisa, you're up with Crownlandia Place Managers. Would you like me to share it, or are you able to share it?
It would be great if you would share it. Just go to crownlandia.com and go to Places Lisa's Coffee Shop. Essentially today making a portal, which is manual, which later can be automated before we scale a lot of places. But right now we have a couple of active places, and we want to be able to get people monthly rewards. And how we do that in the background will be based on their NFT and the scripts to reward those. However, we are going to need to have a place where they can check them and where we can message to them. So if you click on Manage on the right, it goes to an example of a page. And right now I can add this manually, but I'm doing this to explore and to get going, right? So I want to understand what we want to show and then consider how to pull that data in. And chances are we can link to a particular type of transaction from the collection. But in this example, at the top, there's the place NFT. So each place manager will get the NFT for their place. This is the original Lisa's Coffee Shop place, which is the concept. And theoretically, I could have different ones for different places, such as in Telegram and in Uplift World, or in person, or wherever it is. But that place enables me to, as a place manager, earn Crown rewards. So I did an example here for March where we would send 10,000 Crown to that place manager for that month. And then below, I've done the example of the NFTs. These haven't launched yet, but when they are launched, I would put the actual link to the place. It's a sneak preview of some of my NFTs coming. And when you click on, over on the right, View Previous, then you would go to hopefully where that type of transaction is embedded from the blockchain or linked to it or somehow displayed. We'll have to work on how that works. But I didn't want to wait any longer, so I've done a manual interface, and we'll put like a cap on how many places can have that done so that it's not terribly taxing as long as we begin. And that way, too, if there's a launch bonus that's given in the Telegram group, which often happens, we can record that. I think many of you have heard me state that I have a personal goal that someday people could earn the equivalent of $100 US in tokens by managing a place in Crownlandia. So that is going to be predicated on many things over time, some of which we know and some of which we don't know. But I believe that people will contribute tokens to get messages to the people who are place managers. And so I see that as a potential way to help create some sustainability in the Crownlandia rewards. And by having a portal, it could give the opportunity for messages to be shared with each of the place managers when they come to check on their rewards that they've earned, and potentially, if we're changing the rewards each month, you know, having some visibility into that. So, for example, if Lisa's Coffee Shop launches a place in the Uplift world, then there may be other rewards that come to Lisa's Coffee Shop because of that. For example, if Crownlandia in the Uplift world earns rewards, those will have some sort of distribution among the holders of place NFTs. I believe the collection is something like Crownlandia places, but not that many letters. And that will enable those rewards to be distributed. So wherever we are, we don't need to tap into the game mechanics for all of Crownlandia's, for each of the people. We can do it as a whole and distribute it potentially that way if we want to. Of course, we can do additional ways as well. So with that, I'll stop and see if anyone has any questions.
Awesome. Thanks for that, Lisa. I think David's trying to get back in. Weird. Something weird's going on here. Yeah, let's see. I was just wondering if you have you checked out that, this is more of a comment. Have you checked out Blender, where you can like combine NFTs to get another NFT?
NFT Blender is what it's.
NFT Blender, that's what it was. I haven't used it, but I saw it. I was like, oh, finally this came out. Like, I think things like this, where if you're, combining different of these assets, I think there's something there for you. I would definitely check that out. I think combining, like, to make a meal, you combine these things to get your meal. And then when you get your meal, then you can, like, you know, eat it, burn it, and then you get like crown out of it or get something else out of it. Yeah, there's something really cool there. But I was looking at the pictures like, oh man, like, like use Blender to make a full pizza or something. And then, so I think there's some additional engagement to offer the community with that as well.
I definitely was just looking at it yesterday, and I can think of some ways to use that similar to what you're thinking of, ideas I haven't launched yet, which could work. I do have kind of a hard time destroying the NFTs, but I understand people enjoy it.
Well, and then oh, go ahead.
Oh, and it creates some value by reducing the number out there and things like that.
Yeah, it's really interesting how that just seeing how people have already iterated on it and are implementing it. Do you guys have any other comments or questions for Lisa? Awesome. Cool. Thanks for that, Lisa. Let's see. Do we have any others? I think that's it. And then I know Jeff. Hey, Jeff, if you're still around, do you want to talk about your idea that you had?
Yeah. Just a minute here. Did Jason submit something?
Oh, sorry, couldn't hear you.
Jason submit something?
For DAC Cafe, we're here as observer and sponsor, and we'll probably like have a little presentation along the way, but we're not entered for the prize pool.
Okay. Awesome. Well,
Yeah,
yeah.
just because we don't have a game, because this is like the gaming DAC, and we don't have a game per se. We are, not entered for the prizes.
Okay, fantastic. Yeah, that's all we got.
Okay. Okay, actually, so I do actually have something here. Let me send you a copy real quick here. Okay. Oh, crap. Oh boy. I think I just did it again. I forgot to make a copy for myself. I just submitted it through your form. I think. Did you receive it?
I don't see it for some reason. I don't know what's going on.
Boy. All right, hang on. Let me see if I can.
Or do you have a link you could just share in the chat?
No. Oh well, you can skip me for now, I guess.
Or do you just want to do like a verbal pitch? That's kind of.
I just wrote it all out and I sent it without copying it.
Do you want to just read it to us?
No, I've said I just sent it, and then when your form refreshed it, it was gone. So maybe it just takes a little bit to submit. I don't know. I got internet problems.
Here we go. I got it. It just showed up. DAOish. Okay, sweet.
Okay. Can you copy it and send me a copy on our other channel?
Sure. Yeah, I can do that.
I'll read it back.
Here, I'll post it in what channel do you want? I'm just going to post in DACathon 2021 for you.
Okay.
Did you see David's trying to get in?
Yes, and then I let him in on 2 different things, then he disappeared again. So I don't know what much I can do there. I'll shoot him another message and see if he can get back in. But yeah, I just posted it in the DACathon Telegram, Jeff.
Okay. All right, so I'm just going to read it off here. I already talked about this a little bit the other day, but basically it the wishingwell.io will be a DApp to service DAOish, which will be a DAO, a DAC, community and relative ecosystems. Description: this is a long-term project unlikely to be completed during DACathon. It's IBC functions would be to accept donations, stake a wish, vote. Basically, a wish is sort of vote for oneself or others. Make a wish certified by an NFT, deposit funds into liquidity pools, establish endowment pools, match funding donations, handle planned giving transactions, submit grant proposal requests, and other requests coming from user stakeholders within businesses, organizations, individuals. Okay. As far as the, like waterfall liquidity feature, like a diorama kind of perspective of what this is structurally, that, each, it's basically a multi-dimensional construct that can exist in any metaverse world business ecosystem. That's just imagine the watershed feeding channels, and it's basically it's fed by a watershed or multiple parallel watersheds. This water feature feeds an aqueduct structure in the form of a fountain. Okay, and so the user interface that users would be using would be essentially a fountain that would, like a wishing well fountain. From each watershed channel, liquid enters the fountain through parallel pipelines. Each discrete fluid source from the spout at the top can be diverted into specific or multiple vessels for the sake of keeping separate or mixing combinations of fluid streams for the sake of desired purpose and outcomes. So it's custom configurable. The flexibility of fountain structure will facilitate multiple use cases for discrete instances and for combinations of purposes. The a basic MVP feature for the wishing well would be the ability to engage the user interface in the form of a fountain. The user could submit a private wish to be granted. Upon inserting tokens in an NFT certification would be submitted upon approval for mint to be produced, and the wish would be stored on a hidden file linked by IPFS and would essentially be a sort of time capsule storing the wish. The wish is the equivalence of a vote. Any other features known to NFTs could be incorporated, including making badges, certifications, etc. The wish can be transferred to another recipient, such as an individual, an organization, or to a community to be considered or granted. The ability to contribute funds of multiple types of tokens through IBC or other means into a treasury pool is another desired feature. The ability to stake tokens for a variety of purposes, and the ability to combine pairs or multiple containers of currency types into liquidity pools. Basically, the wishing well DAC could serve multiple communities through IBC and other cross-chain communication protocols and design customized instances for individual users and stakeholders, potentially serving vast communities outside of the blockchain space. DAO Wish would be the governed organization and would manage its mission goals and objectives through governing software such as that developed from FIO, Telos, and EOS Stack. That's it.
Cool, man. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I'm glad we got you in there. Yeah, I love that. I've been thinking about, the future of like supporting, payments in communities and just what it'll look like. And I really do think the analogy of water makes the most sense. And it's more of like a stream than an actual like integer you're receiving too. So I think there's something really powerful about that as an analogy for meeting an individual's needs and the community needs. It's like, yeah, symbolically really, really powerful idea there. And yeah, I like your mechanics too. There's a lot of cool things to get into.
Yeah, there's a lot of other mechanics I put in the original proof of concept paper I was working on a couple months ago, but I don't need to get into that yet. But I'll link up that document when I set up this website here in the next couple of days.
I really like the idea and encourage you to do it.
Yeah, and it could be incorporated into games really easily, that's something that could be done actually really quickly. If we just wanted to put one instance somewhere in, you know, in the Uplift world or in, or somewhere else, or even just on a website.
Awesome. Any other comments or questions for Jeff? Sweet. Well, then that's it. Yeah, that's all the submissions we have for hackathon projects. Yeah, so we will announce voting very soon, and we'll make sure you get your tokens and NFTs, and we'll go from there relating to the voting process. So yeah, definitely we'll keep you posted about that in the Telegram. So stay tuned in there as well. But yeah, I think that's it, unless anyone else wants to add anything about the event or just open discussion about the projects. Okay, sweet guys, I'm gonna stop recording.